What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. And today I'm gonna be giving you guys a comparison between a 1SS and a ZL1. That is loud. Now, before we jump right into the video, guys, I do want to go ahead and say thank you to each and every one of you guys that support the channel. Without you guys, you know, I wouldn't be making these videos, so really appreciate it. And we are so close to our 5,000 subscribers, which is halfway to our yearly end goal of 10K subs. So if you like the content, if you like what you see, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and consider subscribing so you can stay up to date with the videos that I post here on the channel. Alrighty, guys, so before us we have two 2019 Camaros, and in all honesty they could not be any more different. Now, the one on the left side, guys, if you are familiar with the channel, you know this one. This is the 2019 1SS Camaro, which I have gone through and done quite a bit of work to, and we will kind of walk through some of that. But the new edition, and what a lot of you guys are going to be watching and seeing on the videos moving forward, is the 2019 ZL1 Camaro that we see here, guys. Just came back from a 1,000-mile road trip to pick this car up, and I am in love with this thing. Super awesome. Now today I want to kind of go over the two differences and show you guys what you get when you pay the extra $20,000 to $30,000 from a 1SS to the ZL1. Now we're gonna start with the 1SS first and show you guys the full options on that, and then move on to the ZL1. Now the 1SS, guys, does not come with these 1LE replica wheels. Those are aftermarket, but it comes with some 20-inch designs, which I'll probably post up here. This car is on drop springs, so it does look quite a bit lower than the ZL1. Now the biggest difference is here up in the front on both of these cars, and that's because the 1SS on the 2019s came with this styling of bumper. I have added the ZL1 style front splitter and actually gone ahead and painted the middle bar section here in the same color match. Normal 2019s come with that blacked out, but other than that, the front end of this car is pretty much how you would get it from the factory. And when you look at the ZL1, guys, the ZL1 is on a completely different level. I mean, you can tell this is a performance car and made for everything. You've got huge openings, grills pretty much left completely open. You can see the grass inside there accumulating, but on both sides there's a bunch of radiators. I believe there's almost 11 or 13 radiators in this thing to keep this thing cool. And the hood, you can see it's got this huge bulge and kind of nice heat extractor that is carbon fiber on this ZL1. I love that. That's an option that I definitely wanted to have on this car. The ZL1, even though it's 2019, still comes with the older 2017 2018 headlights compared to the 2019, but that's because of the bumper. They didn't change anything on the bumper, and I think for the ZL1 they did a great job. Now moving on to the side, guys, and the rear on both cars is going to be pretty much identical, especially on this one because I've gone ahead and added the ZL1 styling side skirts. But other than that, there's really no major difference. On the back end here, you'll see we've got the same, we're gonna have the same tail lights, same bumper. The 1SS does come with a different rear diffuser. This is the ZL1 style diffuser from American Authority, but that's one thing that's different between this and, of course, the ZL1. You see the ZL1 here on the 2019s, they did update the rear tail lights and made everything in the back the same as the 2019 SS's. On this side, we do have the camera here on the spoiler along with a camera down here. So there's two cameras in this thing, and we'll get into why when we look at the interior. But from the back you can see this has a much larger quad tips than the stock SS. Mine doesn't have it. I've actually chopped them off. But overall everything is pretty much the same from the rear and the sides on both cars, guys. The 1SS or SS in general does come with a factory wing that's very similar to the ZL1. I've got the aftermarket anvil notch spoiler here, but the ZL1 and the SS share a very similar wing in that they are the same pedestal style, the 3 points here. The difference being on the ZL1, you actually have the wing overhanging from the body, whereas the SS comes along the body line, and so the wing on the SS is actually shorter and narrower. Now looking up on the roof, guys, you'll see that the ZL1 in this specific model does not have the sunroof and therefore has this nice little dip in the middle. I like that design feature. It looks really nice. It makes it look pretty streamlined and aerodynamic. On the 1SS I did have the sunroof option, and it's just a complete flat piece to accommodate for the flat glass. Actually prefer this, to be honest, over the sunroof. It actually gives you some better headroom inside the car and saves a little bit of weight, which always helps when trying to race at the track. Now in terms of the brakes, this thing, which are super dirty, you need to wash this thing after the 1,000-mile road trip. It comes with 6-piston Brembo brakes. I've actually got the aerospace lightweight brakes, which are a lot smaller, but factory, the SS 1 or 2 come with a 4-piston setup, so much beefier, bigger brakes on the ZL1. But that is all to help make this thing stop, because it does from the factory come with quite a bit more power. Now guys, honestly, both of these cars are amazing. Now let's go check out under the hood and show you guys what differentiates the ZL1 from the 1SS or the 2SS for that matter. Here we've got the Chevy SS. Now this is quite a bit different than how you would get it from the factory. I'll probably post a picture of the factory, but what you do see that's very similar is that this is a naturally aspirated LT1 motor. Now we have added cold air intake, different intake manifold, bigger throttle bodies, nitrous. This car's got heads, cam, and this thing will run a quarter mile in about 9.6 seconds at 142. So very, very strong, very, very fast car. But the ZL1, and the reason that I decided to go with the ZL1 is because of what you see here, guys. This is a supercharged LT4. So this has a much beefier, stronger bottom end with the forged pistons that will be able to handle more power than the LT1 that we currently have in the SS's. This thing is bone stock down to the belts, everything, guys. Stock intake, stock pulley, stock everything. And that's not going to stay like that for very much longer, but it's going to give us a good platform to build off of. Hopefully go faster than we ever could reliably on the 1SS. We've got a ZL1 which has a much higher ceiling, so ideally the end goal for this is going to be to get it to the around 850 to 900 horsepower wheel mark and go much faster, low 9s, maybe a high 8 when it's all said and done with the ZL1. With that being said, guys, let's go and jump to the interior, because that is where is a big difference as well, especially considering the 1SS. So on the 1SS, guys, you're pretty much getting a bare bones interior. Now if you step up to the 2SS, then you start to get a little bit more of the same creature comforts that are in the ZL1, albeit a little bit different. So with the 1SS, it's all plastic. You have a little bit of leather here, but plastic trim piece here. Does not have a Bose sound system. It's a standard, I believe, 6-speaker sound system. You have the cloth seats, this just black plastic door sill, and you do still get the full digital display here on the center screen with the 2 gauges, very similar on both 1SS and 2SS. You get the leather wrap steering wheel. On the sunroof side, like I mentioned, the ceiling is actually lower, so you lose headroom and you get all the extra weight from the sunroof. But other than that, it's pretty much bare bones. You get a single climate zone AC, so you have one side for your temperature and the other side for your fan speed, and you don't get any other extra buttons on this. You do get the 8-inch nav screen, which you can go in and change quite a few things, and you obviously get leather here. But other than that, I mean, this is as plain as this gets. There are some lighting accents that you can get here, which I'll show you on the ZL1, which you can get in the 2SS, but in the 1SS there's really not many comforts, I guess you could say. It's still an amazing car and drives great, and I enjoy it. Really great car. It's probably the lightest of all the 3 models, so that is a benefit when you're trying to race. But it does miss out on leather seats, on leather in the plastics here or the kick panels here, and of course some of the mood lighting. But now let's jump into the ZL1 and show you guys what that looks like. So starting at the door, guys, right away you see you have Alcantara on that trim piece. You've got Alcantara on your armrest here. You've got Alcantara on the back paneling and Alcantara on this plastic trim piece here. And you might not be able to see it in the camera, but you also have this lighting strip that goes around this section. You have memory 1 and 2 memory recall seats, which we'll get to in a moment. And of course you have the premium Bose system, which I have to say is a huge difference. I believe you can get the Bose system in the 2SS as well. And if you're going to be buying a Camaro SS in general and are going to have it for a long period and you're going to be using it as a daily driver, definitely recommend going with the 2SS, because it's going to have the Bose system, and I believe 2019 and up will also have that second camera, which we'll show in a minute. And those 2 things alone for a car that's going to be daily driven are a must. I would definitely be worth the extra, I believe, $5,000 to $6,000 to go from the 1SS to the 2SS, just on the sound system and that secondary camera, which I'll show you in a minute. Now, coming along here, you also get the illuminated door sill on the ZL1. I don't know if that is also in the 2SS, it possibly is, but this lights up at night. And the big thing here, guys, you get the Recaro ZL1 seats. And I believe these also come in the 1LE, but in the ZL1, they're really nice. And I love the leather on the outside with the red stitching, and then you do get Alcantara with these like red little accent pieces, which is really nice, and the ZL1 badging right there. Super nice. This one did come with the optional red seat belts, which make this thing really pop. I love it. There are ZL1s that don't come with that, but this one had it, which is great. Now let's move it on in. On the ZL1s, you get the Alcantara steering wheel, and this is basically going to be a little harder to maintain, but with good maintenance, getting all the proper cleaning, this should last quite a bit. Now these seats really do hug you and keep you in your place. You get a leather with red stitching in the armrest center console. Your shifter also has the Alcantara on the bottom of the boot with the ZL1 stamped on the top. Like I mentioned, dash gauges are pretty much identical 1SS to the ZL1, but one thing that the ZL1 has that the 1SS doesn't is heads-up display. So that's when you have information on the mirror on the top, and you see the option for that as well here. This car does not come with the PDR or performance data recorder, and if it did, one way for you to find out is the SD card slot sits in this section here. But because it doesn't have PDR, it does come with forward collision assist. So you have that right here on the button. You can basically get an alert whenever a car slams on the brake in front of you, which is really nice. You don't get that with PDR. And it also has a heated steering wheel, which the 1SS doesn't. Moving along to the AC controls. This has dual zone climate controls, so each vent here, as you guys can see, will actually control the temperature gauges, and the Seats in the ZL1 do have heated and cooled seats, which is really nice. Display here is pretty much identical to the SS, and it just gives you some extra features like a way to control the accent lighting that you see here. You can do various different colors. I believe it's called spectrum lighting or something like that, so that's pretty cool. The biggest thing, guys, is this right here. The second camera, guys, is right here. So we have a normal backup camera that gets displayed here on this, so when you hit the reverse you get the camera there, but you also have a secondary camera. This is in the wing, and that is for the rear view mirrors. This is basically gonna eliminate any visibility issues. You also get blind spot monitoring on the mirrors, and that right there, guys, pretty much sums up the main differences. I cannot wait to start working on the ZL1, making it faster, and I can't wait to get this thing out on the track to show you guys what this car does on the track and how it responds to the modifications. If I had to do this from the very beginning, what would I have done? Well, it's pretty tricky because I really love the power and the NA side of things with the SS. Very, very strong car, very great, and it was very reliable. But at some point you want to get more power and you want to keep getting more and more and more. That's when the ZL1 kicks in, because the ZL1 is going to be able to handle a lot more power. If you just want something that's going to be quick, fast, and reliable and run you know, right up there around 500 to 600 horsepower, the SS is the way to go. And I would venture on to say the 2SS, with the extra comfort and features that are included with the rear view mirror and the blind spot monitoring and Bose sound system, are the way to go if you're going to be daily driving it and using it as your everyday car. If you're using a race car or you're only going to use it to go to the track, the 1SS is a perfect fit, much cheaper, and will get the job done lighter and perform just as well as the 2SS. Now, if you want more than that, if you really want to go faster and get anything above 700 horsepower as your end goal, skip the SS and just jump right to the ZL1, because that's going to be able to handle all that power without much issues and make it to where you have less headaches down the road. Now, with that being said, guys, comment down below which one would you take and why. Now, most people are probably going to say the ZL1, but like I mentioned, let me know in the comments down below, what are your horsepower goals, and if so, which one would you take and why. It's kind of hard to go against the ZL1, but there is a place for the SS, and I enjoyed the last 2 years with the SS. I can't wait to enjoy the future years with the ZL1. But with that said, guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video and saw the differences between the two. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.